CRT and turtle soup secrets. When does CRT fail and not hit the target? Now, how do you know when will the CRT fail and not hit your target? As you guys know, CRT targets are inevitable. Now, they only become inevitable when you're going with the market, when you're using it logically, when it makes sense. Now, as you guys know, every single candle is hypothetically a CRT. Every single candle is basically a CRT. Now, how do we know which one is going to fail and not hit the target? And the best way to know is the ones that are pattern trading and the ones that does not make sense, that has no logic, no context, and also the ones that go against the higher time frame. Now, the ones that go against the higher time frame could work in the short term, but usually you will incur losses more often than not. But that's why I say always focus on the higher time frame. Now, before we go any further, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, join the Telegram link in the description down below, and make sure you guys follow all my socials. And let's get straight into the video. Now, to determine how a CRT fails, I want to tell you guys, the reasoning, right? How it fails. That's overall how a CRT fails. And how do you know now that is how a CRT fails? Now, let's say you're in a trade. How do you know that this CRT target will not get met? Now, as you guys know, CRT targets are inevitable. Now, the best way to know if the specific CRT target will not get met is by a higher time frame SMT. Now, you're wondering, what time frame SMT am I supposed to be looking for to determine that this target will not get met and it will reverse? As you guys know, SMTs are a thing in trading where one pair takes out the liquidity while the other pair is not, which causes a cause and effect. Now, the best time frame to know that if we have SMT, this target will not get met. This CRT target will not get met. Now, the time frame I'm talking about is going to be not the daily, not the 4-hour, not the weekly, not anything below the monthly, right? Now, I'll tell you guys why I mean by monthly, because there's a monthly SMT divergence, which overall never met a target. But in the lower time frame, there were multiple SMTs which failed, right? That's why we are going to focus primarily on the monthly. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why do I have to care about the monthly? And the reasoning is why is because any SMT other than monthly time frame and above are just going to be a retracement. There was SMT with this candle, right? Now, what is it going to cause? It's just a retracement, tap the order block, and go right back down, right? What did it do? It just caused a retracement. It didn't do nothing else but cause a retracement, right? So, and the way I got this is by me myself being in a chart and looking at SMTs, because I used to look at a chart at the weekly SMT. I would see there be a weekly SMT. I'll see a retracement / OTE, and then a CRT target becomes hit again, right? And if sometimes I see the market having SMT and the SMT works out. Now, the SMT that I had was with much higher time frame than a weekly SMT. Now, as you guys know, the CRT targets are inevitable, so they will inevitably get met. Now, that's primarily based on the daily, the weekly, right? Not on the monthly. The monthly time frame is where market makers are moving the market, right? A daily time frame above is when the market makers are playing, where the market makers are very position on, right? So that's where they control the market the most. And the monthly time frame, they don't play around too much. So there's a monthly SMT is such a higher time frame is likely to hold, rather than the daily and the weekly candle. A weekly candle opens up and gets created every single week. A daily candle gets opened up every single 24 hours. People wonder, like, that's not that much. That's very long time. It actually isn't, right? It's just no, time is moving really quick. And as I said in my last video, that in 2016, 24 hours with 24 hours would be much longer than right now, right? Right now, 24 hours are just going by like this. A week just goes by like this, right? It just goes so quick. So a weekly candle is actually not very higher time frame. A daily candle is a very higher time frame because time is moving very quick. So I primarily care about if the CRT target will get met or not is through the monthly SMT divergences, right? Whenever it's a monthly SMT, that target will highly likely not get met. Whenever there's any SMT below the monthly, it's going to be some sort of retracement, right? Just like this, SMT retracement, and eventually the target will get met again. Boom, right? You just go back down. You will regardless get met, right? Because SMT is just going to cause a retracement if it's below the monthly time frame, right? Now, what are the other ways that a CRT? Now, I told you guys how a target will not get met, right? So now going back into how does a CRT fail to deliver is by simply knowing the logic behind it, the context behind it. Does it make sense? Does it go with the higher time frame? Is there context to it? What else there is? Is it the right time? Also, there's multiple other ones. Is your trading guideline rules respected during that CRT? If it's not, okay, you can determine it to be failed, right? Just like this, right? You could determine. So in this case, I would, my target got met, but on this day, says my target, says my range, says my trading guideline rules on a lower time frame did not get respected. I automatically thought, okay, this CRT is not going to deliver, so it did it, right? Because he got resumed. So eventually, this case on this day, it didn't deliver. It didn't follow my trading guideline rules, so I thought it's not going to deliver. And guess what? It delivered. It's not always going to be perfect, but it's going to save me a loss. Even though I didn't take a trade this day, I would have not taken this loss on this day, right? So I would have saved myself a loss, and I could have caught an opportunity on Friday, right? And on Friday, my rule says this should deliver, and guess what? It's delivering, right? So that's other ways to know how a CRT will fail or not. If you follow your trading guideline rules, you can determine it to be working out. If it doesn't follow your trading guideline rules, you can predetermine that it will highly likely not work out. Sometimes it can, because market doesn't go around you based on your rules, but your rules are there to help you catch the best and the highest probability. And when it does work out, and when it doesn't follow your trading guideline rules, cool. Just wait, be patient, because you saved yourself a loss on a day before and on a day before, right? So that's why. And other ways to know if CRT fail or not is through logic, right? If it doesn't make sense, if you're pattern trading it, it's not going to work out. It usually has 80% chance of not working out, right? 80 to 90% chance, and the time you win are not going to be enough, because you have to go through psychology war, right? Even let's say you have a 1 to 5 RR and you lost 80% of the time. But we think, well, I'm still regardless making money. No, you're not, because keep in mind that you have to beat your psychology, right? You have to beat that, fear. That fear gonna mess you up on that trade, right? The 1 to 5 RR, you're probably gonna get out too early, right? So it's very important for you to know, right? Now, before we go any further, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, join the Telegram link in the description below, and make sure you guys follow all my socials. Just a reminder, you feel me? Now, excuse my unprofessional language from now on forward. It's gonna be professional, and no profanity language, right? So that's how you determine if a CRT will fail or not. I don't have to show you guys any examples, but this right over here, it worked out because, in this case, this CRT failed because why? Although it did work out, but during a time-based, if you were to enter a short here, you would have failed, right? Because you would have get sued again. So the way you would avoid this, the way you would avoid again stop down this, and the way the CRT failed was because, to me personally, it didn't follow my trading guideline rules, and it wasn't the right time. So I automatically determined it to not work out in my favor, right? To not work out. So over here, I thought the same thing, but it worked out. Over here, I thought, okay, this should be working out, and eventually it worked out. But I would rather take this. Now, rather take this trade and not taking on any of these. Why? Because this is much higher probability, right? Because it followed my trading guideline rules. So I determined it to work out in my favor. But in this case, even let's say I wouldn't have that trading guideline rules and I take this trade over here. let's say I take a trade on Tuesday, I take a loss. Wednesday, I take another trade, I take another loss. And eventually these 2 days, I take a little small win, right? But eventually these two small wins are not going to do it enough because first of all, I got to beat these 2 days psychology warfare, right? Because I took so much of the day. My psychology might be off, etc., etc. Right, the mingo gets me. So if I'm going to focus on the highest probability, I take a trade here, I make profit. I was like, okay, I'm going to be patient, be patient, be patient. Wait, because the next couple of days, take a trade back, right? Because those couple of days that I wait are going to refuel my psychology, my emotions, and going to give me more confidence because I didn't, take a trade every single day, right? So my mind is, not too worried about losing or winning. It's neutral, right? So yeah, that's how you know if CRT failed, and that's how you know if the CRT target will get met or not. Now, other ways are going to be time, right? Now, when you use this, it's all going to be based on time. But yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share. Join the Telegram link in the description down below, and I'll see you guys inside Telegram. Make sure you guys follow all my socials. And yeah, see you guys on Telegram. Peace out.